Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Let's Play Wrestling GM, where we are trying to take this tiny little Joshi Puro Risu company and make it something special, as well as making our little upstart in the openers, Mayuzumi, into a superstar. And this is our first opportunity to really do that because we are jumping into our first pay-per-view of the series. This series is, of course, sponsored by the creators of this game, Sicko Games, so thank you for supporting them and making this episode and this whole series possible. If you're interested in what you're seeing today, there is a link in the description to both the subreddit for the game as well as a link to the game itself right in the description. Go ahead and click on it. Start playing today. It's a lot of fun. I think you guys will like it. Now, what do we got going on? Well, we got some feuds going on. Unfortunately, they're all kind of cold. Some of them are icy cold. Now, Nishimori and Okabe we expect to be pretty cold because they just broke up in our last episode, on our Go Home episode. They were a former tag team. Okabe had gotten sick of Nishimori's crap after losing and decided to just break away completely. We can see that. I don't know if we can see all of the events of the past. Let me see where I would find that. Fan history. Trying to remember. I swear there is a show history. History. Well, of course, yeah. The button that says history is going to be the history button. Yeah, so perfect. So we had in our last show sort of a triple threat for the number one contendership, and Okuda and Oishi got that match, got that win. So they're going to be facing Hydra and Banshee, and unfortunately, these other two teams lost, and that led to Okabe basically attacking Nishimori while exiting the ring, and that kind of spurred the departure. Now, they were already sort of on a weird face-heel divide. Presumably, at one point, they were both faces or both heels, but Nishimori turned face or Okabe turned heel at some point. So that division of tactics, that sort of philosophical divide that is the departure between face or heel, a technico or rudo, that do everything to win versus do the right thing. That sort of divide must have just been too much, and the team broke down from it. So that's certainly a big issue there for us. Some people are asking about getting more talent on the roster. Certainly something we would look at, though I don't know if we're going to be able to within the scope of this show. Just simply because it does take a little bit of time to build up. This is a long-term game, so what you need these gold coins to essentially hire your wrestlers. So you can convert your points to gold, so you get those points over the course of the game for successful shows, and you can use those points to, develop your wrestlers backstage with your options here. If I were to go to Nishimori here, you have your dojo, so you can send them boot camp, have them do cardio. It all takes some points to do, so you kind of have to decide whether you want to invest in your current wrestlers or if you want to hire potential wrestlers that are free agents out there. And certainly we would look at something like probably Pro Wrestling Athena, which is a all-women's division out there that have a lot of fan bases, a lot of established fans here, would be good options. Unfortunately, it's going to take 10 gold coins in order to bring them over. So it would be a long-term thing. We'll have to see how much we get in terms of game points from our next pay-per-view. But it would be something that down the line we would look at bringing in some extra talent. But for now, not something we're going to really be focusing on. Not a big deal. Anyways, let's get to our pay-per-view. Why don't we? Excited to see how this pay-per-view ends up going out. Now, it is a bigger, longer show, so it needs to be at least 120 minutes. Previously, our actual TV shows only needed to be 90. So we are going to have more more or longer matches on here. I'm probably going to be leaning towards longer matches, though ultimately I kind of want to get everybody on the card in some capacity. Less angles, though there may be some, but for the most part, we just want to get everybody on there and show their performance. There's not really a morale system as far as I can tell in the game. It's really more the fatigue management. But I would like to get everyone on there so they can get the most potential fans, presumably. And I haven't tested this out yet, but I would think that a pay-per-view is probably going to see the highest potential of viewership. So you're going to probably see more fans gained than lost in this situation. So we want to have people there as much as possible. So we're going to start the show off. I think we're going to start the show off with like I said, trying to get a bunch of people on here. Let's get our openers in an exhibition match here. And we'll do normal. And let's just look at our openers. So we have a bunch of people. Obviously, it's not going to be Leia. It's not going to be Izumi. They're going to have their own match. But we will bring everybody in the opens that we can into this match. And maybe one mid-carder we don't really plan on using that much. I think Jasmine, we don't really have a plan for. In fact, I think I'm going to have Jasmine win this. I like her style, like her look, and I think this might be a springboard for a storyline that we can start with her after this pay-per-view. So we'll have her win. We'll have her win by submission. Well, that's really difficult in a four-way scramble like this. So it's going to have to be a pinfall. Normal match, not a big deal. Not high stakes, but it's a good way to start the show and kind of hype up the crowd a little bit. Now, I think from here we need to go to Leia. Now, I'm trying to remember what we had said for this. I think, because eventually I want them to have a best of three. Because I think right now they are like a 1-1-1-1. Let's go to the feuds, and I just want to see if there's any history we can build upon. I'm trying to remember what we said for them. Major victories 2, and then major victories 1. So yeah, I think at this point what we're going to have is because this storyline is not going to be something that is over yet, right? But I think what we're going to do, because I don't want May to lose popularity. I don't care that much if Leia does right now. But we're not going to finish this storyline. I think it has to be a normal match. You know what? Oh, that intensity though. Boy, that prestige would be good, but that might really murder May's fatigue. Let's do it. Let's go crazy. Let's go wild here. May and Leia in a ladder match for the championship, and May is going to win. We're going to do 14. Let's do 13 minutes because it's going to be a little bit harder. Whoa, too much. Too much there. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult on them. I'm concerned about her fatigue. We might have to take her off air for a little bit, maybe for the next episode or so, but that's fine. We'll see how this will be a nice test to see the the limits of the fatigue system of how bad she might end up suffering from this match. Because we don't want it to go too far, but certainly it's going to be a problem if in the middle of this she ends up collapsing because she has so little energy left. We'll have a celebration for her if she could still stand at this point. Just a 3-minute celebration for having won. That kind of lets us build into, I think, maybe some other story for Leia, but I think what's going to end up happening is Leia probably next show is going to call out May and demand like a best of three. Let's say like you just kind of won through some BS, and I want to make sure that I want my title back, but we're going to do this the right way kind of situation. That should be an interesting way to build that up. Now let's look back at our feuds again, see what the next in the line is. We definitely want to do, obviously Tanaka and Tana are going to be our main event, even though it's pretty poor right now. Poison and Takano. So I'm torn on whether I want Hydra and Banshee to be our main event, or if I want Poison to be our main event. I think Poison needs to go into the mid card. So let's go back to the card. We're at 31 minutes already, so we're booking through this pretty quickly. Let's have Poison have a promo first. Really hammer in, basically have her saying like, you don't know what you're about to get into. You have no idea what I'm capable of. You just need to back down, go home, walk away, because this is going to be a brutal match, because this is going to be a no disqualification match, right? So it's going to be a hardcore match. Slightly higher intensity. It's a brawl style. Unfortunately, we don't have any brawlers on our roster, but that's fine. Our feud was with Takano. I always forget that for some reason. I don't know why. So Takano is, I think, in our mid card. Now, it's difficult to say because a part of me says that Takano should win this, but I think I'd rather have Poison end up going dominant here. So let's do 12 minutes. Let's do submission. And I think Poison's going to win because I would like Poison to be sort of the next challenger for the title. And I think that gives her an opportunity here. She defeats Takano. She fully cements herself as a main eventer. And you know what? Let's get this a little bit longer just to really let the match shine. This is going to be a brutal one. I don't know about 20 minutes. Let's say 18-minute hardcore match between Takano and Aoki for Poison here. I think that's going to be a rough one, but I think that'll be interesting. It gives us a little bit more time on the card, which is something we do have to worry about a little bit. Do we want any more promos? I don't think we do. So now it's at this point, we got to kind of see who we haven't used. I would like sort of a breather match out beyond this here. So let's see who we haven't used. All the yellows are ones that we've used in some capacity already. So who's on our mid card? We got Kita. We haven't used yet. Oishi, Lotus. Let's do Kita and Lotus. I think is fine. We'll give Kita a win. And let's make it this like a 12-minute, just random match. Low stakes. It's just there to give both of them something to do. Give a breather between the hardcore match and the next match. Because I think the next match we're going to do is... oh, you know what, though? We still have some time left. Who do we have left on our card that we haven't used? Okay, well, Banshee and Hydra are going to be the match. Other feuds we have to pay off. Do we want to pay off something with Nishimori and Akabe now? I think we should. So let's do this, okay? Let's have another tag team match. But first, we have a segment. So the best we could probably do with this would be a challenge. But what happens here is that there's supposed to be another 3-way tag match, right? And what ends up happening is Okabe challenges instead Nishimura. You know, what ends up happening, it's not necessarily a challenge, but they're supposed to get together, they're supposed to be part of this team, and they sort of have this formal breakup in the back and say, listen, you know, I don't want I don't want to have this match. I just want to have this match with you. That kind of situation. So there's a bit of a call out in the back. And that leads to a match where there's two teams, normal match, nothing crazy. We're not going psycho here. Who's our teams that we don't have? Well, we need Okuda and Oishi to fight Hydra and Banshee. Kato and Kita, we've already had a wrestle. So I think we're going to make a team here and just kind of put some people that haven't been in a match yet. Look at our mid card. It's Chitsuko. Who's in our main event? It's not. Is Ito in the tag match that we need to do? I'm trying to. No, she's not. Okay, so Okuda and Oishi are in the tag co-main event for the tag titles. So Ito doesn't really have anything to do. So that gives us some possibility. Do we have anybody else that we can actually? We might not be able to do this. We might be capping out our matches. So instead of having a tag match, I guess maybe it was going to be a 2-on-2, but instead they have to compete against each other. We'll do that. Let's have a normal match, and we'll have how do I say, Ito and Jitsuko have a match together, just a normal one. Give Jitsuko the win. Been a lot of baby faces winning so far. 12 minutes is fine, just a tiny one. We're at 85 minutes, so that gives us a match with our spurned tag partners, which we will throw on here. So we have Nishimura, and I'm going to keep on butchering who it is. Okabe. There's a lot of O's that are throwing me off. Okabe. Oops, I got to unhighlight that. There we go. Okabe going to have a match, and it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a double count out after like 17 minutes. It's going to be a brutal match that leads to nowhere because they know each other so well. They can't quite actually, figure out what else to do. Like they can't figure out how to stop each other and end up and both disqualifying each other. So that kind of leads to the beginning of their feud there. To add a little bit more heat on there, I think after the fact, we'll have a backstage attack where we will have Okabe attack. Actually, I want the other way. Side A is the attacker. So Okabe attacks Nishimori after the match, just sort of having a further beat down. We'll just do like a 3-minute one because we don't want it to be super long. We're already coming up to our 120 minutes. Though we can go over that, we just need a minimum. So we're well within that range. Not a big deal. We're gonna have our normal match for the tag titles, and we're gonna have Banshee and Hydra versus Okuda, and who else is on Okuda's team? Oishi. Too many O's. I'm gonna start trading them off so I only have one O on my team, on my roster. It is for the duos title. Let's do submission. We're gonna make this a 22-minute match. And Hydra and Banshee are gonna retain. I think building them up as a more dominant force is more interesting. And then in our main event, of course, we have our champion in a normal match. Nothing special yet. We will have our main eventer, Tanaka, facing Tano. And we're going to have Tano maintain and retain the belt. And it's going to be a grueling match. We're going to do like 28 minutes. We'll see how they do with that. So that gives us the cards, 155-minute total card length. We pretty much used everybody on the roster. So we're going to have to kind of play around with who is left standing in the next next show, and who do we need to give a rest to kind of build up. So let's go ahead and let's see what we got here. All right, once the show starts, fight cannot be changed. Sure, we're fine. Opening match is a nothing match. It's a 33. We kind of expected about that much, I think. We didn't really expect very much coming out of this. And it's fine. It gives a little bit of movement for Jasmine. Let's see what fans she got. So she got 180 fans. It's actually not that much, all things considered. But look at all those bonuses she has. That youth look, that pure look, well, I think pure 2 is her skill. Superstar look, cool factor, a lot of things going for her. I think we need to do something for her in the next month. I think we're gonna, you know, we're gonna put the cart to that horse and see what we can build up for her. Maybe a next challenger for May, possibly. I don't know. Speaking of May, we got May and Leia. May wins the title. The match is a 49. It's not too bad. Unfortunately, Leia loses 277 fans. May gets 367. Pretty good movement and becomes the new champion. Does not lose any prestige on the belt, which is nice. They're both about evenly matched. Actually, literally exactly evenly matched in this. So we get a 41. A lot of that probably has to do with the feud. So overall, pretty good. After that, we have a celebration of May having the championship. Gains another 300 fans. Not much to say about it, but it does give her a nice boost. After that, we get a 43. And now remember, we're looking for a 45. That's sort of my personal goal here. Can we get a 45 in this pay-per-view? I don't know. We'll find out. After that, we have Poison saying, just stay home. Just, you don't want this. You don't want this. She's got that cool factor. She gains fans. Angle's a 43. The match is pretty solid. 46. Not too bad. It seems like our highest scored matches were like 50-something. So this is getting pretty high up there. Poison had a 44. Takano had a 43. Only 150 fans gained from this match. None lost for Takano. The feud probably continues, maybe doesn't continue, we don't know. We'll find out next episode, but Poison handily defeats Takano and moves on. Alright, moving on, we got Kita and Lotus. Kita defeats Lotus. Again, just a quick exhibition match. It's a 35. It's a pretty underwhelming match. Unfortunately, there's not much going on for it. Kind of what we expected. This is disappointing, though. Okabe versus Nishimori. Okabe gains 300 fans. All right, now it's actually, this was just the angle. I was going to be really disappointed if this was how low the match was. Though, unfortunately, this angle is really poor. Okabe doesn't do a great performance, and obviously as the sort of the challengee here doesn't do very much. I still haven't figured out how that breakdown happens. We kind of have to figure that out at some point. But it seems like whoever is issuing the challenge gets rated more. It might just be the amount. Or also it could be that you're rated more on like your overall popularity here. So, you know, if they were challenging like a very popular wrestler, it would have probably done better. Because they both have about the same charisma. So it's not a charisma issue. We'll figure it out at some point as we're kind of going through. Or if you guys know, leave a note in the comments of how that system works. It'll be helpful for me. All right. Going on to the match, going to a different match, we have Ito versus Jitsuko. There was originally going to be a tag team versus tag team match, but obviously that challenge was a breakdown of that tag team formally. So instead, Ito and Jitsuko, who were just going to be thrown together into a team, are to fight together, and Jitsuko gets the win. It's a nothing match. It's a 40. I don't have much to say about it. It's fine. It's just an exhibition match that we had put on the show. Unfortunately, this match kind of sucks. 37, Nishimura and Okabe have a draw. They both have a 40-42, but yeah, 37's not really what we want when we're getting towards the upper of the card here. Very disappointing, but a double count out, continuing the feud between the two of them. An angle backstage after the fact, also underperforming massively. Nishimori only getting a 6 in here during a backstage attack angle that Okabe ends up attacking Nishimori basically after the bell rings. It had to be broken up and dragged apart. In our semi-main event, it's much better. 52. We got Hydra and Banshee versus Okuda and Oishi. It's pretty solid. Not too bad of a match here. We get some experience gain for both teams. Hydra and Banshee retain and become defending champions. Prestige for the belt stays the same, but overall, not too bad. A 52 is pretty good for our co-main event. Really hoping, I think we need like a 55 in this main event or higher. I don't know if we're going to get it, but let's check the main event and see how this goes. Main event's only a 50. Tag matches are a little bit better. Tano retains the belt, and a lot of, well, except for our undercard, all the other belts were retained by the defending champions this pay-per-view. Tanaka fails to capture it, and Tano maintains and retains the title. Gets 750 fans from that, which is pretty good. Loses some prestige on the belt, though, which is unfortunate. So something I want to look at is we're going to have to find an interesting competitor for her to either put that belt on someone to really gain some prestige, or do something for her to boost her own personal prestige, because that's definitely hurting us. Wow, pay-per-view was only 42. I'll take it. It's not quite where I wanted. We got 2 times gains because it was a pay-per-view. So we ended up gaining about 2,200 fans for our company. Gained another 84 points. And gained 2 gold coins for it. So it gives you kind of an idea of, over the long term, you'll be able to hire people with your gold coins, or if you want to commit and convert your points to that. But it's going to take some time. So we're probably not going to get a new hire during the duration of this show. But it is something that you can do over the course of, just a couple months in the game. You'll be able to hire somebody new reasonably within your price range for how many gold coins you're making. 42 is not bad. I'm happy with that. I think it's still higher than most of our shows, which are running out of 40. But could have been really great. I was a little let down by our main event, which I thought would have been better. But instead, Hydra and Banshee were stealing the show for certain here. That's kind of a shame, but not too bad. All right, so we got 15,000 fans, 15.7K, with January 2020 completely in the bag here in our save. I want to look. I'm afraid to look, but let's take a look at what that roster looks like. How are people's fatigue? Actually not horrendous. Leia and May really need to take some time off. So I think the next episode, we're just going to keep them completely off that episode, because they're going to need some time to recuperate. Everybody else, though, seems pretty okay. I think we can run people for a pretty good time here. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me for our pay-per-view in January. And we will catch you guys on the flip as we jump into our February 2020 save and start our next run towards the next pay-per-view. Thanks for joining me.